Y'all, easy low carb dinner ideas? Yep, come on. All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling something that I am asked more than anything in the comments and in emails, and that is, what can I cook for dinner tonight that's low carb or keto and tastes good and it's easy, doesn't take a long time, it's easy to clean up and tastes good. So I've found a couple of recipes that I think fit all of those requirements, and these also, neither one of them require cottage cheese, almond flour, or coconut flour. So you're welcome. Those seem to be the despised ingredients du jour these days. So the first recipe comes to us, actually both of them come to us from TikTok, so I'll leave their links to their accounts down below. Please go visit them, they did the hard work. They deserve the traffic. So the first of this comes to us from Keto Craig's, their TikTok account, and this is his recipe for tuna patty melts. This looks fantastic, and we've done some like salmon patties, some salmon croquettes in the past. I'll leave a link to that video up here. But that required almond flour, and I still love that recipe. But this is a version that doesn't require an air fryer, but I believe you can air fry that. Now the second recipe, this one looks good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about this one. This is from a creator called Just in Time on TikTok, and this is his recipe for keto mozzarella sausage bowls. And there's a few steps here, but it still looks easy. And he's actually got an alternate second recipe that uses the leftover ingredients from the stuff you buy for this recipe. So kind of getting a 3-for-1 out of this video. So without further ado, let's get started on the first recipe. Come on. Okay, so let's get started on this first easy dinner recipe. This is the tuna patty melts by the TikTok account Keto Craig's. This goes pretty quickly, guys. This is 2 cans of tuna that I have drained, so just regular size, the regular size can of tuna, and I've drained that. I can't tell how many they make out of this in the recipe. I think it's 4. I'm going to shoot for 4. So if you want to make more than that, obviously you may want to double this recipe. And I usually don't give ingredient amounts, but it's a little more difficult with TikTok because some of the accounts come and go. So sometimes I do give some ingredients because these are so easy, it's kind of hard not to guess what I'm putting in. Obviously the first being an egg. So I'm just going to give a quick little mix on that egg, get it started. The other 2 main ingredients are cheeses. You've got some grated mozzarella cheese, that's a 1/2 cup, and some grated Parmesan cheese, and that is also a 1/2 cup. And yep, I use pre-grated cheese. I do. Sue me, sorry. So from here, we're just going to give this a quick mixy mix, and he also does some seasoning that we're going to add into this. And when I said this is going to be easy, I did mean it. Now, the official recipe on his page does not mention the fabulous sauce that he drizzles all over the finished patties when he's done, and more people were excited about that than they were almost. They're like, drop the sauce below, buddy. And although he didn't give amounts, he gave some rough guesstimates, and it's sort of like what some people would call maybe a comeback sauce, or one of those mayonnaise based lovely creations. Now we're going to finish mixing this up because this tuna needs to break up a little bit. But here he adds some seasoning. He does salt and pepper. He mentions he uses some Flavor God lemon garlic seasoning, but I didn't have any of that, so I'm sort of making my own. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon each of salt. I did have lemon pepper, so that takes care of the lemon and the pepper. And then I did a 1/2 teaspoon of powdered garlic. So just throw this in there. Hopefully that's enough. He just said season to taste, and I think that's going to be pretty close. And I'm just going to give this a good mix. Okay, so the oven has been preheating. It's ready to go. It's at 400 degrees. And we're going to bake these for quite a while, and you're going to flip them halfway through. He does mention at the end of his video he'd probably pan fry them next time and get them a little crispier, but I'm going to do it the way he said. Now, I think he made about 4 of these. And I'm going to be honest with you, this feels a little bit dry. I haven't touched with my hands yet, which I'm about to. So I hope this holds together. I would imagine it would be pretty trivial just to add a second egg to this if you don't feel like this is going to hold together, but we're going to follow the instructions because that's the way we do things around here. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on here. He doesn't say to. Obviously, this is a parchment lined sheet, but sometimes things still stick. So impeccably clean hands. We're just going to take this out and form these into some patties. They are a little flaky. So again, I might wish I would have added another egg to these, but we're going to go with what we've got here. All that cheese is going to melt and probably do a good job of holding this together. Okay, so these are ready to go in the oven. I've got one that's a little bit smaller than the others, but we did get 4 out of here. They're going to be nice, hefty size patties. Hopefully the cheese does a little bit of cooking and melting to hold this all together because they were a little flaky. But again, we're following the recipe. I'm going to put these in for 30 minutes at 400 degrees. He said to flip them halfway through. Again, he said he could probably would pan fry them next time, but I think you'd maybe need to add that second egg for them to hold together in a skillet. But no matter, I'm going to bake these off and I'm going to come right back and we're going to make this sauce that everybody was screaming about in his comments. All right, meet you right back here. Okay, so he had a nice little sauce that he created, and we're going to recreate that here. He didn't give ingredient amounts, but you've done this before. You know, all these kind of sauces, they're all very forgiving. You're going to make it to your taste. Got a little squeeze bottle. I'm going to try to get it down in so we can make some drizzle. But the main 3 ingredients to this was a mayonnaise, a little sugar-free. He said spicy ketchup. I didn't have sugar-free spicy ketchup, so I'll add a little more hot sauce, but I did have some sugar-free ketchup and some spicy ground mustard. So we're going to do that, and then he also adds, he says hot sauce. I'm going to put in a little Cholula, which is the chipotle, and it's not super hot. I'm not a fan of super spicy things, and I do love the Cholula chipotle sauce. Just has a nice flavor, and it's actually has flavor, and it's not just like fire and burning your face off. To this, he also adds a little bit of onion powder, and all this, we're just sort of, guessing here. Maybe that's a 1/4 teaspoon. A little bit of smoked paprika. Going to add that in, and some ground pepper. He didn't add salt, but I imagine there's plenty of salt in the other condiments. All right, give that a mixy mix. Okay, so that's great. All right, I'm going to try to jam it down in there, spoon by spoon. I'm going to flip those, and then I'll come back and we're going to test these. But maybe, no, we'll test them all at the end with everything. So I'll meet you back here, and we'll get started on this second recipe after I clean up all this stuff. All right, see you in a bit. All right, you guys, our tuna patty melts are actually out of the oven, and I changed my mind. I'm going to go ahead and try these now because I just have a feeling that these are going to be at their best when they're warm and crispy. So they turned out well. They held together really well, and I flipped them halfway through. I'm going to get a couple of these on a plate so I can get a nice photo here. And from here, obviously, he did a beautiful sauce with his, so I'm going to do the same thing. That looks amazing. And a few little green onions just for prettying it up and a little extra onion flavor. That looks great. Now, as you saw, this was so easy. I mean, like super duper easy. Let me take a quick photo of this before I try it. Hold on. Okay, so the important part here is, what does this taste like? Can I get it to focus on that? It looks beautiful. Those are some pretty little patty melts. So the question is, what does it taste like? Let's crack into this guy here. It's pretty crispy. Actually a little bit hard to cut. I might need a knife on this. Huh. That's surprising. Okay, get some of that sauce. It's gonna be hot. Mm-hmm. That's good. Hold on. Okay, fantastic flavor. The sauce is a must. Without a sauce, this would be, you know, tuna and cheese. And as far as the, you know, macros on this go, I mean, you're literally just cans of tuna, an egg, and a cup of shredded cheese, right? So super minimal on that. I will say that I think that they might be slightly overcooked. If I were to do this again in the oven, I'd either turn the temperature down to about 375 and cook it for 30 minutes, or I'd cook it for 20, 22 minutes, flipping it halfway through at 400. I just think the outer cheese is a little bit tough. I mean, it's not a problem. It's not problematic. I'm gonna eat the heck out of this for sure, and can't wait to dive into the others. And maybe I've got them a little too thin. That could be a possibility as well. Instead of flattening them out so thin, maybe let them be a ½ inch thick, or maybe in 3/4 of an inch thick instead of getting them super thin. But they did crisp up. I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't fool around with frying that in a skillet. I'd do it right in the oven. That sauce. Okay, I will. All right, let's get started on this second recipe. But before we begin, I want to tell you about today's sponsor, LabCorp On Demand. It is often said that knowledge is power, and that is especially true when it comes to our own bodies. If you've been around here any length of time, you know I'm kind of a data-driven guy. I like to see the figures. If we're talking about macros and nutrition of the food that we're eating, portion sizes, weights, measurements, those things matter to me. When you're making changes, whether that's nutrition or lifestyle changes, you feel better, you look better, but you wonder sort of what's going on inside. If you follow me on other social media, you know that over the last few years, I have really taken on some endurance cycling adventures where I'm spending, you know, a week biking 550 miles at a time. I'm making changes obviously here with the keto and the low carb diet. And while I feel those differences, and I can sometimes see those differences, I've really wondered what was going on inside. My sponsor, LabCorp On Demand, offers a men's health test that really focuses on blood panels, urinalysis panels, your lipid panels, full metabolic panel, so I can sort of see exactly where things are happening inside my body. Now, obviously, I purchased the men's health test, which provided all of the panels I mentioned earlier, as well as things like my testosterone levels, but they have a full variety of tests, including a women's health test. Go check out their catalog because the breadth and depth of the things that they offer is truly amazing. Now, you can go to trylco.com/highfalutin and purchase a test, and then you'll make an appointment or walk into one of LabCorp's over 2,000 patient service centers for your sample collection. There is no doctor's appointment necessary. Testing is performed at LabCorp's CAP-accredited, CLIA-certified clinical laboratories that typically process 3 million samples every week. You'll be notified by email as soon as your results are ready, often as early as the next day. Get the insights you need to live a healthier life. Go to trylco.com/highfalutin and use code highfalutin to get 20% off select tests. Thank you so much, LabCorp On Demand, for sponsoring this video. Let's get started on this second recipe. Come on. Okay, so let's get started on these sausage mozzarella bowls. Again, this is by a TikTok creator named Justin Time. This is his keto sausage mozzarella bowls. He didn't have a name for it, but that's what I'm calling it. And this is also easy. There's a couple of different steps, but all of them are easy. We've got 2 large cans of canned chicken. I know, hold on. 12.5-ounce cans of canned chicken, and we've drained them. He specifically said, don't use fresh chicken. If you've ever made any of the chicken crust pizzas, you can, you know, some people get away with using some ground chicken, and you probably could here, but honestly, for weeknight meals, I don't mind the canned chicken. You don't get it. I mean, it's not a lot of flavor. You're just using it. This is going to be a crust. This is what's going to make our little bowl. So we're making a crust that's going to go in a little muffin tin. So I'm following his instructions, and I'm using 2 of those. We're going to add in some eggs, a couple of eggs to that. So I'm just going to give them a pre-mix before we start. And in those go. And to this, he's going to add in a couple of different cheeses. He uses a Fiesta blend cheese. This is a ½ cup. of shredded cheese. He mentions Fiesta, and he also mentions that there's lots of different combinations he does with this recipe, but we're following the main one here. So any kind of shredded cheese would probably work there fine. The other was a half a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. I have shredded. You can probably use fresh. I could tell that he used the carton, the can, right, canned Parmesan cheese. And I know a lot of you are like, that's sawdust. Well, you know, it's not really sawdust. No, there's cellulose in it, but it is not wood sawdust. But I get some of you don't like that. But in some of these recipes, particularly for these crusts like this, that is an easy way to make a crust. So I usually keep some on hand for things like this. So that's what I'm using here because that's what he used. If you make this or have made it and you've had good luck with fresh, expensive, fabulous mozzarella, Parmesan cheese, well, let us know below. I'm sure it's fantastic. But I'm following his recipe here. Now, to this he has some seasonings, and this is 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. He uses Tony Chachere's, that's what I'm using, and a half a teaspoon, did I say teaspoons? Yeah. 1 teaspoon each of those, and a half teaspoon of smoked paprika. So in this goes, Cajun seasoning already has salt in it, so no need for salt there. The chicken is probably certainly salty enough. So we're going to give this a quick mix and get this into a nice, what we're going to use as a dough. We've done that, and now I don't want to get my pan too schmutzy. We are just going to make, should probably weigh these out. His looked really exact. But he went ahead right in a dry pan and formed this into a little bowl shape up the sides of the pan. So that's what I'm going to do here. All right, so I'm going to finish this up and I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch. Okay, so we have shaped these into our little bowls. His also, these don't go quite to the tippy top, and his didn't either. You just want to make sure there's, you know, a little bowl shape in there. I'm probably going to regret not spraying this, but he didn't spray his and he didn't use liners. So I'm hoping that the cheese does me a little rescue and kind of pulls away as we need it to. But this is going to go in, I've already cranked the oven up to 425. It's already preheated. This is going to go in just for 6 minutes to pre-bake these. And then we'll be right back here to show you what goes inside of these. All right. Okay, so these are out of the oven after 6 minutes. Doesn't seem long, but and they're still kind of soft, but I guess we're just trying to par cook them, not cook them all the way. Now from here, he adds 3 things to this, and that's the cheese, a couple of cheeses, and his sausage. So the cheese he uses, I'll let you look at his video, go check that out. It's a marinated mozzarella, right? So it's in olive oil, and it's these little mozzarella balls. He gets his from Walmart. It's sort of like a Walmart haul, but I didn't go to Walmart. I went to actually to Trader Joe's and got these. He puts 3 of these in each of the little bowls. So let's do that. That used all of those. Now you can get rid of the oil there or use it for something else. I'm sure it's absolutely delicious. For 3 for each one, obviously have one that's like 2 1/4. Now from here, he has a pound of hot, spicy Italian sausage, and he's using about half of that, which I have here, and he puts them into 6 little balls, which we're going to break into small pieces. He'll also use this in a minute, and I'll let you explore on his video what he does with that, but I'll mention it here in a moment. To this, we need to take one of these and break these into small pieces and sort of fill in around on your little bowls here and your mozzarella balls. So let's work on that. Okay, so we've got our sausage divided up between the bowls, and from here he takes a 6 ounce, I think it's a 6 ounce, 6 ounce package of crumbled feta cheese. He's also only going to use about half of it, and we're going to obviously divide that among these 3, and you're going to press the feta down, the crumbled feta down onto the top of this and onto the meat. He uses plain feta, which I'm sure is great. At my store had tomato basil feta on sale. So, you know, I'm always one for a deal, and I bet you it ain't gonna it ain't gonna tear it up. So that's what we're using. So he puts a little bit of this on it, and here's where he has a secondary recipe for this. So you're only going to use half of this feta cheese, right? And you're only going to use half of your pound of hot Italian sausage. By the way, you can use, I'm sure you can use whatever, you know, if you don't like spicy, just use regular. But he takes these leftovers, the leftover feta and the leftover mozzarella, mixes them together with about a tablespoon, or I think it was either a teaspoon or tablespoon. You're gonna have to go look at his video. And he uses that to make smaller meatballs, and then air fries them at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. So you've got some hot Italian sausage feta meatballs that looked divine. So I'll let you go watch his video for that. I'm not gonna make that today, but I'm gonna save it for me to try on my own time. So press this feta down into the sausage. I'm going to clean up my hands here. This goes in the oven for 20 more minutes now after you've let it cook, par cooked for 6. So 20 minutes, and then they need to come out of these tins and let them sit on a rack and get crispy. They're going to crisp up as they cool off. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get cleaned up, and we're going to test it, and I'll let them know what you think. So see you in just a bit. Okay, y'all, these are out of the oven. They look amazing. They smell amazing. They held up great. They came out of the mold very well, as you can see. I just wanted you to see, I put them on a rack while they cooled. So added a few little green onions. Let me get those out of the way. So I needed to take a photo, so I went ahead and cut one in half. And I mean, my gosh, those look fantastic. So they are really cute. He talks about the nutrition in these. Let me get my numbers over here, because he did run the numbers on this, because there are more ingredients in this. It's a little more, might want to calculate these by his measurements. I haven't checked these, but I should probably do that. I'll let you know in the video description. It makes 6 large bowls, which are, I'll use the jumbo muffin tin. I think it's a 3.5-inch muffin. Roughly 175 calories each, 16 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat, and 3 grams of carbs. So fat on that seems a little bit low, but I'll run the numbers on this. He also mentions you can use fat-free cheese if you wanted to. I thought that sounded too good to be true, and I'm glad that I did check those numbers. When you run this yourself, it's 361 calories and 36.4 grams of protein, 21 grams of fat, not 5. I thought that really sounded off. 5.2 grams of total carb. You got 0.7 grams of fiber for 4.5 grams of net carbs. So proof that you really just need to run the numbers yourself. These aren't bad. Those aren't bad numbers. They're just very different than the 175 calories and 5 grams of fat that was initially stated. So always run the numbers yourself. All right, back to it. So more importantly, what does it taste like? The cheese cut beautifully, and the crust is nice. Look at that crust. I mean, chicken crust has always been good. Okay, it's hot. Wow. Hold on. Okay, A plus, A plus plus plus. Those are fantastic. The chicken crust doesn't taste like chicken. It tastes like a crust. If you're familiar with the chicken crust pizzas that we've done here before, you're used to that. If this is truly 200 calories, that is fantastic. Y'all, this is, and I was worried about the hot sausage being too much. It's not. It's great. Some of that sauce that we just put on those tuna patties would probably be good on there. Whoo! Those are good. I told you I was excited about them, and I was right. So be sure, please, to go check out, what's his name? Just in Time, his TikTok channel. That has a little bit weird to say, a special place in my heart. We had a retired racing greyhound about 20 years ago that we rescued from the track in New Hampshire, and his racing name was Just in Time. So, oh, sweet dog. But anyway, Just in Time. He's from New Orleans, I guess. Hence the Tony Sacheries. So go get after this. Go make that. Both of these were fantastic. Easy. Cleanup's going to be easy. So yeah, there you have it. I say it every time, these videos are a way for me to maintain my low carb way of eating, and looking in the end of that camera as often as I can helps keep me honest. So I appreciate that you guys have come along for the journey. Be sure to please hit the like button down below. Be sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell button. That'll let you know just as soon as I release a new video. Those are free to do, and it's the most important thing you could do for the channel. It lets the algorithm know to share this with like-minded people. If you want to try my new merch, the low carb high snark or a Sift y'all shirt, just go to my website, highfalutinlowcarb.com. It's at the top. It'll be the shop button up there. Some of you have asked for where to get these. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I've got 250,000 people over on Facebook and like 25,000 of you over on Instagram. It's just Highfalutin Low Carb at both of those places. I talk a little more frequently, show you what I eat during the day sometimes. So join in the fun over there. And lastly, my rock stars, I say it every time, without them none of this would be possible. Those are my channel members, which you'll see always down below just under this video, and my Patreon members. Patreon's like the tip jar for the internet. That's people like you who enjoy what people like me do here on YouTube for you guys. So you can join the fun over there at patreon.com/highfalutin-low-carb. You always see their names start to scroll over here, and if you want to see your name in this list and join my test kitchen crew, as I call it, be sure to hit the links down below. So with that, I appreciate it. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, today is a great day to have a great day. Bye-bye.